courage for them to stand up in that time and come together and exercise their collective power, because nobody had the right in those days to withdraw their labour. Taking strike action was illegal, and the final result was that the government's troops were called in and they were cut down, and 6 people lost their lives and many more were punished for the action that they took. But what it did, it lit a fire, and it lit a fire that's led to the birth of our trade union movement. It lit a fire that led to real progress, to working class people realising that they did have power and coming together and fighting for the right to vote, the right to have a say in our democracy, setting up proper systems of taxation, setting up things like the NHS. And when we think about that word courage, that's something that we're going to need right here, right now, today. We're seeing the rise of fascism, we're seeing the rise of authoritarianism. Where I live in Maryhill, there are flags that have been raised in the last 48 hours right up Maryhill Road, and for the first time I'm seeing the flag of my country used as a symbol of hatred and division in our working class communities. But that is not what we're going to get if we vote in the likes of reform. They are a gateway drug to fascism, and we need to be having difficult conversations. We need to have the courage to do what our comrades did in Falkirk yesterday and stand and form a ring around asylum hotels and protect the most vulnerable in our communities, and have those conversations that tell people if we're angry, we need to punch up at the rich and the powerful, not punch down at the most vulnerable in our communities.
Workers have power. These guys had power. They didn't have a vote, they didn't have property. They had every law in the land against them. They had a regiment standing against them with rifles. But they still had power. They had power that resonates through the years. They had power that inspired generation after generation of working class people, and it should inspire us today when we stand against the fascists, when we stand against the despicable employers that still run this country. It'll end when we have the wealth and the power in our hands, the real wealth and power. And we'll get that by using the power that they can't take away from us. It's the power of our labour, it's the power of our minds, it's the power that we get from standing together. Comrades, fight on.
They demanded justice, and for that demand, 6 of them, John MacDonald, Alexander Miller, Alexander Macmillan, James Ainsley, Alexander Gibb and David Wood were cut down by the muskets of the state right here in the streets of the Calton. Make no mistake, comrades, the blood of the Calton weavers runs through the veins of our class history. They were the first recorded martyrs of Scotland's working class, and they won't be the last. But the struggle continues as long as capital grinds down labour and as long as the few prosper at the expense of the many. We stand here not only to mourn them, but to lift high the banner they carried. Their strike in 1787 was not the end, it was the beginning of a movement. A torch passed from the weavers of the Calton to the Red Clydesiders, from the pits and the shipyards, from the factories and the railways, to every worker today fighting against poverty pay, precarity and exploitation. The class struggle is not fought in whispers, but in solidarity. Comrades, the Calton weavers did not die in vain. They live in every strike, in every union hall, in every cry for justice. Let us leave here today, not with bowed heads, but with clenched fists, with the fire in our hearts, determined to finish the fight that began in 1787. Long live the memory of the Calton weavers, and long live a united working class. Thank you.